when you play Spanish Joint by D'Angelo, you could play it like this if you want. But wouldn't you also like to be able to play it like this? Today, I'm going to give you the groove elements that are necessary to play funk keyboards, this kind of a vibe, okay? Now, the first one for this tune, Spanish Joint by D'Angelo, going over this vamp at the beginning is the bass line. 2, 3, 4. So we're going C minor to F minor, simple stuff, 1 to 4, right? And then when the bass line starts moving right here, that's the most important element. That's the foundation, right? 2, 3, 4. So when you break it down by itself, it seems really simple. But check out the syncopation. Down, up, 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 down, we got to get the timing. And if you slow this down, that's where you're going to be able to make sure you've got that groove element of the bass line. 1, 2, you want to break it into 4 parts of the beat. And we're imagining all those other instruments, right? Percussion, and then as we speed it up, 1, 3, 4. So even when we play simple in the right-handed first, make sure we're nailing that bass line. All right, groove element number 2. Counter melody. It's played by the guitar, but we gotta play it with the bass line. Get that solid first. Now he kind of varies it up on the recording a little bit, so you don't have to be super dogmatic, but you want to have that rhythm super dogmatic, right? Do-do, boot-da-da, boo-do, boot-da-ga, boo-do. Now this takes a little bit of practice to get them together. This may not happen overnight, but that juxtaposition of the bass line of the counter melody is the foundation for this groove. It's great by itself, but when you get so a lot of hands alone practice, slow it down. 3, 4. And you can put on the D'Angelo original recording and just play along with it to start to get that groove. Add in each part by itself. Now I'm adding some little chords and stuff. Some chords here, just minor 11, C minor 11 to F minor 9. You can do 4s. Or single line counter melody. Now the third groove element, hits. There's a couple of them in this tune that really set things off. They're breaks, they're hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, Then it goes into the melody. that's the whole melody there. So you heard the different hits. Ba-dee-ba-dee-dee-do. Again, you can slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Make sure you get that time. And then we got this great little hit, little melody, little section at the end. Roy Hargrove, the great Roy Hargrove, you'll hear it on the recording, is layering a bunch of really cool fourths. I think he's got 4 or 5 parts, trumpet parts, and it comes right at the end of the melody before it goes back and repeats the entire melody, the verse and the chorus. So you've got see, these all fourths. And if you can catch all these, because you've set up that bass line and that groove already, we can leave that and go up here and play it, right? Here we go. Bridge. End of the bridge. Now end of the chorus. Back to the counter melody. Okay, so that's all your elements. I know, making it sound easy, but it's really simple like that. Now it's just a matter of putting them together, taking your time, really learning how to groove with each element. So with that bass line, a lot of practice like this. Some simple comping. Just enough that you're not messing up the groove. It can just be, it can be that, that's fine. Let's take it back up to tempo. Now, with this melody, this is really part of the groove too, because it has to fit in there. But the architecture of this melody is really important. This first section over the verse, it's a lot of C minor pentatonic, 1, minor 3, 4, 5, dominant 7. But it's got layered in, and you can hear this on D'Angelo's melodies. That's all pentatonic, right? Each time he does it a little bit different, just like a jazz improviser. That's that influence. And the blues, that's what it is. Because when we improvise, we can use all that. That's really getting into being able to improvise within the groove with that kind of singer's vocalist mentality when we talk about play what you hear, right? So it's playing around with that on the melody, but we can do it when we solo. And then here we go, B flat minor to E flat 7 to A flat major to G7, back to the C minor. The whole thing though is based C pentatonic, even when it goes to the 2-5-1 to the A flat major. That was straight pentatonic. Check it out again. I didn't play anything but pentatonic. Now, the little alterations, the little passing notes you put in can make that interesting as you move through there, even though your foundation can still be the pentatonic. So I'm just playing one note A natural over that E flat 7, and then back to the pentatonic. And then one note B natural. So the other great thing about really nailing these groove elements is they stay there even when you leave. always hear that, right? Even if I go to rootless voicings, I'm just going back and forth. C minor to F minor. And I can go back to the bass line whenever I want, just to throw it. Remember the hit? You can add that into your improv. One of your groove elements. Your counter melody. So what's happening is all these elements are there once you start the groove. You don't have to play them every time. If you play them with authority and with rhythmic clarity, with groove authority and rhythmic clarity when you first set things up. So you're better off spending, I mean, the way the record is, that's how they set it up. They're like, first they go boom, 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 boom. It's got percussion, you know, kind of setting it up, but it's real open, but the groove's already there. C minor, F minor 6, 9, and then it's That's Charlie Hunter. So then you got some freedom once you get to that melody. I don't even have to play anything. I can even play wrong notes, it still works. And miss the hit. I'll catch it next time. I get that from what D'Angelo's singing. Now the bridge or the chorus, D half diminished, although sometimes they go up to A flat major. And it's got this great vocal layering, like with fours. So D half diminished to G7, flat 13 to C minor. Repeats it, something like that. And then C minor, and then 2-5-1 to the A flat. And then the Roy Hargrove line. That hit's important. Then you can just sit here if you want. I'm just vamping now, 1 to 4. So I've got, what am I doing? The pentatonics are there. The blues. And the left hand, I've left the bass line, but I haven't left the vibe and the groove and the syncopation of it, right? But I'm going more. You know, when we listen to these recordings and we transcribe, if we want to learn songs that we love, doesn't matter what the style is, make sure you're learning the groove as much as you are the exact melody and the chord changes. You want to learn all that, but the groove is so important, right? So what I'm doing here to give a foundation to improvise just over the vamp, but then I can take this for the whole tune if I want to leave the bass line. Root and shell. So I'm going root down here, C minor. And I mean, if you can reach this, that's great. You can do it all together, but you don't have to. Root, shell, dominant 7th, minor 3rd. So on the F minor, you can go 7th and 3rd or 6th and 3rd for the shell. Same thing for the C minor. then you can also jump up always, to rootless voicings, jazz voicings, whatever. You can even just sit on them, right? And check it out, we're talking about syncopation, so you got do that. There's that syncopation, but there's also syncopation when you're improvising, that you can really set off that groove between your improvised line in your right hand and your comping in the left hand, because we've left the bass line, boom, 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 but we want it to still feel like boom, 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 it's still there. So I'm like, doing some of my comping in between the cracks of what I'm playing in the right hand. You think about a conga player. You can also just improvise single line over that bass. Even as you go through the change. Then you start to combine it. Now here we're going through the changes, B flat minor, but I'm doing that same root and shell. I'm just putting them all together. Chorus or bridge. D half diminished, G altered. Mess that up. Back to the melody. You can take it up. Why not? My pedal's not working. A lot you can do with that pentatonic, right? And you might notice I'm not really changing much when I go from the C minor to the F minor. I'm gonna play just the C minor pentatonic over both. A little bit of blues. Now that was just going up a half step chromatic, but I just did it with the right hand the first time. Got those great places to come back to. All right, So there you go, groove elements. Let's just review them real quick. Bass line. And look, every tune, funk tune, groove tune, or whatever, has some kind of bass line. It might be a little bit more complicated than this one. It might be a little bit more esoteric. This is a nice, simple one. But there's a little bit of hidden sophistication in there. So it's not boom, doom, doom, doom. You hear the difference? My pedal's not working now. This is good practice. I'm always preaching. We're playing the pedal too much. What can we do when we don't have it? It's different than. That's easier to play. That's the up, up, down. Up. And beat of that 16th note. Remember when we slowed it down? You want to get that precision within the beat. Then we've got the counter melody. This isn't always built into the tune, but we can always use that. This is typically how we would comp, right? So you got boom, 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 boom. The guitar line on this. It's a little riff. But if we were coming up with something, it might be. That's counter melody. I'm playing it like chorus. That kind of thing. So you always got that counter melody. It could also be a little bit more melodic, a little bit longer of riff. How about? So those are the kinds of things that we're coming up that interact with that bass line. That's why we call them a counter melody. It's almost more of like a counter rhythm. Like, even if you did something, there's a little bit dangerous to leave that groove because we're going to go to another groove. But even something like. So you got like. That's a counter melody, right? But you can make one of them. Maybe even. But we're still getting that precision, right? Right? Those upbeats, not sloppy, not rhythmically sloppy. Now, right? I said dangerous. We're going to go back to the D'Angelo groove. And then we talk about other groove elements, the hits. Because that's what sets things up. You've already got, obviously on the recording, they've already got the groove set up. And you're going to already have the groove set up when you play the solo keyboard. But the hits, that's your chance to solidify them, give you a chance to have a break, give a little bit of structure and architecture to the tune or to your solo. Right? That's fun. And you can make your ones up, make your own up. You know, different rhythmic hits, melodic and rhythmic hits. That one wasn't that great. That's all right. That original one is really good. All right, and then your final fourth element, your groove element, to be able to play this is the syncopation, which is built into the counter melody, and it's built into the actual melody to a certain degree. And you check it on the record. The way, the different ways that D'Angelo sings that, offsetting it. Check out Herbie Hancock. Everything he plays, he's got that. So that's there, but it's also there with our comping, right? Syncopation. So that even if we're not playing a bass line, the groove's there, groove element. And sometimes you got to do it with your left hand, sometimes with the right hand. Bridge. So you want to take all these groove elements and get yourself solidified on each of them, and then get stuck in the groove. Nothing you can do can take you out. Happy practicing. Peace and piano.